Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Squeal Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Abe.
Yeah, it's Abe.
Do you want to see Prey this weekend?
Yeah, yeah, I like The Predators.
Yeah, we didn't have this conversation before.
Weird thing to just throw me into. You're like, all right, we finished that conversation. All right, we're rolling. All right, I'm slating, and let's have the same conversation. You're a weird guy, Dave.
Look, it's spontaneous.
That's true. I act like I haven't done the same kind of thing, but I don't know. I feel like it's on brand to call my brand. It's my brand to call out your brand for being a maniac.
Absolutely.
So here we are.
So the circle of life continues.
Mm-hmm. A little look behind the veil. Hey,
welcome to Hypecast.
Woo!
The show where we get hyped about stuff and things. Yeah! I'm one of your co-hosts, David Bell.
And I'm Tom Ryman. Just kidding. Yeah. It's Abe Epperson, the cool Tom Ryman.
The cool Tom. Tom is moving literally today. So
we miss you, Tom.
I expect him to be back next week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also, just between you and me, Abe, I'm hanging out with Alex Schmidt. Ooh. I think next week, maybe on Thursday. So I got to figure out how to record Hypecast that day too.
Ooh,
yeah.
Why is that just between you and me?
Just between us. Listen, my point is being that, like, yeah, we should. Tom should be back next week.
That's right.
I assume if his internet and stuff, you know how moving is, right?
Oh, I was talking to him earlier before this when I was taking copious notes about how he interacts with the world and says stuff, like, because I wanted to make sure I did this podcast justice. And he was talking about, he's like, the boxing and the unboxing it has a strange kind. It does something to your psyche. Because you go, this goes into the box, and then it goes out of the box. Yeah, and it's just like, it's a weird process we do that we have to do. It's because we're tied to physical space, and sometimes we forget that in our digital age. A little bit of thought, you know.
Because we're just like disembodied voices.
Yeah, true.
How are you, Abe?
I'm extremely well, sir.
Are you hyped?
Yeah, I'm fucking hyped. There's like a few stinkers on the list. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd never lie to you. These things have some stinkers, but there's some bangers on this list as well. I'm very excited about some of these movies.
Oh, yeah. Bangers and stinkers.
Bangers and stinkers.
That's what we should call this podcast.
You got it. That's right. That's a Tom Ryman original.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, no, I'm hyped too. I feel similar. So let's go through these and figure out what's what.
Right.
But we first have to thank some producers.
Oh, that's right. I have to do some of these, huh?
Yeah, and I can help you with some of them.
Okay.
Do you want to? So I'll start.
Okay.
Big thank you to Hombre. Hombre.
It says in parenthetical in a grizzled voice. So
what?
I'm explaining to the audience.
I'm trying to do a home movies reference where they replace your brain with a towel.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah,
it's a towel. Thank you, Hombre. Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls. Thank you. Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head. Thank you. Thank you to Samuel Beckett's Donuts and Mortgage Emporium. Thank you to Snapper Car Punches God in the Dick. Thank you to @NerdNumbers. Thank you to Mike the Lurker. Thank you to Dracula, the bus-driving vampire. Thank you to Brockaway Loves the Meat Millie. Thank you to David Knife Boot Henson.
Woo!
Thank you.
I'll take it from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dive in.
Ooh, thank you, Grumblebee.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry last Hypecast I talked shit on you, but it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again.
Of course it will.
Thank you, Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Thank you.
Look, Ma, I'm on a podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you to Seismic Charge Noise. Bwah. Thank you to Deborah's awesome, Barbara's great, and Cancer can go to hell.
Thank you.
And thank you to, God, he gets this right every time, and I'm going to fuck it up.
So I can give you the first part.
Okay.
Numino ultra microscopic silico volcanoconiosis.
Yeah. Anti-establishment.
Disestablishment, right?
Anti-disestablishmentarianism Jones.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, baby. The baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chiz Lily Tits.
Thank you, Chiz.
Thank you, these 7 Bs.
These 7 Bs,
and thank you, Breezy Ruizy.
Thank you. Yeah, it occurs to me, like, I don't know about you, but I still have anxiety about can you read this chapter for the class? Mm-hmm. You know? Because I'm not a good reader. I'm not a bad reader.
Me too. You can tell, though. Everyone can tell right now.
Yeah, but that's why I like doing these, is because it embraces it. Like, you get more and more comfortable with saying, like, I don't know how to say this word.
Well,
and it's okay, you know?
Here's the thing, is that, like, my lifelong, like, creative partner is Michael Swaim, who you know as highly intelligent, and can, on a dime, switch to on mode and be able to do some virtuosic, like, performance stuff, right?
Right.
And he's been in my life as long as I've been in this kind of stuff. And so I guess, like, with that comes this attitude that I've always had, which is just like, ha, I'm a fool and a clown, and look at me, you know, it's just like, that's
right.
Make me a joke. I'm stupid. It's fine.
It's hard because you're not an actor, right? You're not a performer.
Not in my soul. No.
Yeah, neither am I. And like the way I think of it is the realization I had, because I went to a performance arts school growing up, and it was always because I wanted to do stuff adjacent to performance. Right.
You're like tech kid, kind of like I was.
Yeah, and writing. And so you have to accept it, but every now and then, like when I watched you guys jam, when you play, when you guys were all jamming,
yeah,
and like Katie was there and she's dancing along, and Michael's freestyling. It like clicked in my head of like, oh, you're all a bunch of fucking theater kids.
Yeah, they really are.
Realization of like, I remember as theater kids.
Look, yeah. I love nothing more than making fun of theater kids. I've been around them, and they are exhausting, but also I love them because they make life interesting.
For the record,
nonsense.
I am a theater kid.
Right,
like I said, I was a techie. I did theater stuff. I did stage combat classes.
Right.
Like I'm not saying that as like, oh, I'm not one of them. It's just like, fuck, theater kids, right? This is what happens when they're in their 30s, you know, like...
We never know what you're thinking, Dave. We'll talk about it. You're like just this blank void of eyes. So we're like, what does he think? Is he think he's one of us? Is he one of us? It's all
white noise.
Yeah, you just hear white noise. That's amazing. Yeah, makes sense.
Static.
Makes sense.
You want to talk about some trailers?
Yeah. You want to start with Andor?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Mm-hmm. Andor. Mm-hmm. This is a Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to put myself out there.
Yeah.
And say that I think this is the first Star Wars thing in a while that is exciting to me.
Yes, I agree.
Since The Mandalorian.
Yes. Also, yes. That was a surprise. This is just Star Wars spy film, and I like it.
Right. And it's like they're trying, and what I mean by that is that like they have like actors they're going to do like emotional stories. I would argue more so than what we've gotten recently, which isn't to say that there aren't emotional aspects in some of these Star Wars. It's just, it feels like the first, like, it feels like Lucasfilm lately. Like, they made The Mandalorian, right? And they were like, that was really successful. Now let's make a bunch of other desert things. Like, where they do one good thing that spawned from an original idea, and then they beat it to the ground.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
That's absolutely true, yeah.
Yeah, where, like, Obi-Wan was like, oh, good, more desert stuff. More like this Western look. And this feels like the first thing since that where they're like, well, let's go to Coruscant. Let's do, like, something that isn't just a fucking desert. And let's do, like, this, like, spy story of him infiltrating the Empire.
Right.
And it's like, holy shit. I don't care that this character technically, like, dies in, like, 5 years or whatever. This looks solid.
This looks like a solid one-off, which I liked.
Yeah.
And it's what a lot of the films, like, obviously, it's not a one-off because it's coming off of Rogue One. In that it shares characters and their stories. But one thing that dawned on me is that I share the criticism of Star Wars that a lot of our friends have, that I think a lot of people have, which is that Star Wars, why do you stop following this like family and stop following this part of the galaxy? Obviously, the Empire and the Rebellion are big parts of that. But, like, not just you can talk all day about, like, let's stop the Skywalkers, but also, like, the fascination that they had with Tatooine. The fact that the Ewan McGregor one, the Obi-Wan, that was, everything is, like, in these already embedded worlds that were already built by Lucas, that are already cool, and they're, like, the branded iconography of this intellectual property. But it's like, the galaxy is huge. In fact, it's only gotten bigger since Star Wars came out. There's cooler ideas for planets to exist. And I understand that this is, again, Andor, so we know about that. It's a forest moon. We've seen them. I hope there's Ewoks, right? Isn't this the Ewok area?
No. This Andor is actually the name of a character.
Oh, wait, what am I thinking
you're thinking of Endor?
Endor! I'm such a bad Star Wars
I made the exact same mistake. Same mistake.
Okay, well then it's even better than what I'm saying, because my point was that, like, this is, like, regardless, we're seeing a little bit of the Star Wars shit, and if there was, like, Ewoks, or there was, like, Tusken Raiders or whatever, it's good. They're kind of meeting us halfway, because, like, they're doing a lot of stuff where it's like, remember this part of Star Wars? We can't just do a one-off. We're too terrified to do that. Disney will never do that. But here, they're like, okay, here's a few random, like, things we'll throw in here, but it's not instrumentals to the story. It's just live in the world of the general idea of Star Wars. That's so funny. Endor. I'm such a bad Star Wars fan.
No, it's literally one letter off, man.
Yeah.
I it's their fault. That's on them.
That's kind of
Andor and Endor. It's like, fuck you, Star Wars.
Yeah, it sounded weird when I said it, because I, like, looked at it and I watched the trailer and I was like, Andor, the Force Moons of Andor. And then the second that we all said it and we're like, all right, let's talk about the first movie, Andor. I'm like, am I saying that right?
Right. This also touches on, I feel like I've said this before on Hypecast. I'm sure I've said a million things a million times on this podcast, but it was a conversation me and Cody had once where we literally, for like an hour and a half after a podcast, just talked about what the new movies could have been. Yeah. And we started actually, like, scripting them out. And I always wanted to go back to that and, like, do a podcast or something where, like, a bunch of people just script it out. But, like, one thing that I think is missing from Star Wars that should be there, and it should have been done in the new movies, but this seems the closest to that, is that life under the Empire is dystopian, right? But we've never gotten a dystopian film about Star Wars. What I mean by that is, like, where is the 1984 of Star Wars? You know what I mean?
Where do we see the Empire becoming evil and installing all of this shit? Yeah.
Or, like, what is it like being a citizen in Coruscant with the Empire in charge? And like we're seeing Coruscant in this in the Senate. Yeah, and so if someone who gave a shit actually wrote the new Star Wars, the new movies, it should have started there. Like, I think what's her name? Rey. I'm getting two people confused.
Yeah, you're thinking
Rey
of Poe Dameron, but you're thinking
Poe
Rey
and
Finn.
and Finn.
Yeah.
They should have been characters who, because they do this thing in that new one where they're like, who's Luke Skywalker? Or like, you know, like they don't seem to know their past from 20 years ago. And the way to actually have that work is if they were born into a world full of disinformation, right?
Right.
So like it should have started with them on Coruscant believing in the Empire. And like maybe Luke and like in their head, Luke and Han are like terrorists, are like Osama bin Laden's. You know what I mean?
That
Like
would be cool.
That
They're demons. They're actual demon monsters.
Right. That would have been such a good, interesting way to show the world.
What if
so
they all
it's not
thought
just
Jedis
that
were demons? Like Jedis
I know, that
were
would have
like
been so cool.
monstrous figures, and they're like, haven't you seen our Sith though? Like maybe we're the baddies,
right? But you show a world like that where they're just being this fire hose with misinformation,
right?
But like it's not just that they can't stop following the Skywalker stuff. It's stuff like that where it's like they can't even look at it in a different angle or in a remotely creative way.
Yeah, it's
like
yeah.
And so it's like just a brief conversation with Cody was like, oh, that's a really good idea that it took us 5 minutes to think of, you know, like why can't they do this? Just this little bit of work.
Well,
this feels like someone who actually thought about it.
The answer is, of course, they thought of ideas like this, if not this exact idea, but it isn't the one that is pushed forward, which is something that, and I think on this podcast in particular, we're going to talk about several times about how studios actually work.
Yes, very
and
true.
I'm eager to have that conversation with you.
Yeah, because there is an element where a writer might have been like, what if it was like this? And the studio goes like, oh, but we want to get it under this time, or we want to get in this amount of time. We have to have a lightsaber fight, and so on and so forth. And I was watching Check Ride Shadow Recruit last night.
Why?
I don't know. I asked myself that same question. But the first scene is him on a helicopter going to Iraq. Well, the first scene is him witnessing 9/11, and then he's on a helicopter going to Iraq.
What does he think about 9/11 though? Was he like thumbs
he's not
down?
into it.
Yeah, okay.
He wasn't like woo. No, I don't even know. He's on a helicopter in war, in generic war setting, right? Middle East, and they have to have the scene where the helicopter gets shot down, right? Mm-hmm. And that informs his character. But they also have to show that he's wicked smart. So he's on this helicopter, and he's in the army. He's a lieutenant. They're flying to the war or whatever, and then he takes like a call on a satellite phone to check in with a report he sent to the CIA. Because we're setting that up, right? That it's like, oh, he's wicked smart. He does analyst stuff.
Yeah.
But because they had to shoot it and write it in such an efficient way, he has to do both in the same scene. And that equates to a guy in the military taking a call on a helicopter about a report to the CIA. And it's like, would he be doing this right now?
Yeah, I want to see someone like, no, just Zoom. Get to a laptop and Zoom. Is the internet good there? Shit.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not going to be good at that aspect.
But it's those types of decisions, right? It's a screenwriter probably wrote those scenes separate, and then some producer was like, we need to condense.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I guess he could be talking on the helicopter.
Here's the true worrisome thing, is that in some film schools, maybe film schools that I went to, perhaps, they will teach these things as positive. Because they're trying to create people who will get work, not people who will make the right decision for the viewers to enjoy the film, which is weird. That's a weird thing that we live in.
It's a weird thing. It can be done well. Movies can be done efficiently, very well. I always reference the beginning of Back to the Future, where it's like one shot, news report about missing plutonium, guys, clocks, wild inventions in one shot, showing the plutonium, Marty coming in and being like, Doc.
The speed and efficiency as a studio note is honestly not one of the worst notes to get from people. And I think I want to say now, so they don't have to say it later, studios and writers and the people who originate stories and what they want to do with the script or the first script or the second version or the third version, they don't have to be at odds. And it's not all of the studio's doings. Some writers can get uppity about exactly what they want. And it's like, nah, we think we have a better idea. And sometimes that can just have itself out. But ultimately, it seems like we're in a situation where we constantly are. And furthermore, or more importantly, the studios are always winning. And that's them's the rules right now.
It's because they hire people they can push around now.
A little bit.
But that's Andor.
That's Andor.
Sorry,
I just wanted one thought about trailers, just like, because I'm fascinated by trailers all the time. Every time I'm on this podcast, I talk about how like they're the worst usually, and
they absolutely are.
It's like such an art form to me, and some of the best trailers are just as good as some of the short films I've ever seen, and it's just like some of them are amazing. This is like, to me, we're at peak because it's Star Wars and it's like a huge, it's an icon, a titan of the industry. This is top of the food chain in terms of cookie cutter. Like, it is as cookie cutter of a trailer as you can get right now in terms of trailers. And I like to take index of what they're doing and what they're like loose with, like what they aren't doing that typically trailers do. And there's a few lines that jumped out to me. One is, "Are you a fish or are you a thief?" Which is going to be a joke in a scene. But they clearly were like, okay, we want to make everyone know that he's a thief, so we're not going to do the setup for that joke necessarily, but we're going to get that line in there. But it's not a perfect line, right? The other thing that's clear to me is that if you just like close your eyes and watch the trailer, it's clear that the makers of the trailer, the brain trust that created whatever you were watching, doesn't think we listen to lines in trailers. And they might be right about that, because there's a few lines like, "This is what a revolution looks like," and just general good trailer sentences that are more or less saying that this is the kind of vibe you're going to get, this is the tone, this is the way they say it, and this is what it's about. It's a great trailer line, right? But for the most part, if you listen to this trailer, it's all over the place. It's like, it's not a continuous thread of like things that make sense in context. It's just singular moments pulled out. And I don't know, that's not the worst type of trailer, but it's clear that they're like, don't care about that aspect anymore. That it's not about like, all right, so here's what's going on. It's just like, here's a shot of someone saying a line that we thought is cool. So anyway, I just thought, try that little exercise. Close your eyes and listen to it if you're interested.
Trailers are nonsense.
It's nonsense, man.
Yeah.
This one in particular. Let's move on. All right, I'm good.
All right. Let's move to Medieval. This was a trailer I wasn't going to include, and then I saw it has like 3 million views, and it was like, well, shit. I guess we'll have to include this, which I'm glad I did, because it's got people in it. It's got Ben Foster and Michael Caine,
who I hope is sitting in every scene.
Yeah, me too. I hope he's doing all right. The director, I have to note the director. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to pronounce his name. His name is spelled Petr and then Jakl. So he's I believe Czech. And the reason I bring him up is because he's an actor. He was one of the henchmen in Triple X, the one who's really into Vin Diesel.
All right. I don't remember that.
He was also in Eurotrip.
Okay.
He was in Bad Company. He plays henchman, I think.
Yeah.
He mainly plays henchman. And so I just thought that he's directed 3 things, and this is one of them. And I'm just like, when you look at him, he's got like bleached, spiky blonde hair. He looks like an Eastern European henchman. And I love this for him. I want him to be the next Spielberg.
Come from everywhere, man.
Yeah. I just want this swole, bleach blonde Eastern European henchman to start making like the best movies. That's
learned
what I want.
Recently that the person who pitched the idea for Planet Hollywood, like the person who had the idea, was like in a few movies, including like a med tech in like the background of one shot, or like had one line in the movie Running Man. And it's just nice. Like, And that's like, he didn't know Arnold Schwarzenegger, but probably knew him enough to approach him and say, I have an idea. What if you ate food in front of props? You know, like, it's just like, wow, a lot of ideas happening over here, just with random people in movies. Yeah.
All right.
This is what you go.
Oh no, you go.
Well, this is the most recently I felt very much like cis white dude shouldn't make all the movies from a trailer. Like I'm a cis white dude. I agree. And I'll have to go to this. It's like a white dude rule. It is, but I'm not looking forward to it, I guess.
Right. I know exactly how you feel. It's called medieval. It feels like the most generic thing.
Yeah, it's
because it's just like gray guys, white guys fighting over women, and there's castles, and we're gonna sword fight, like, and he's gonna give a speech, and it's just called medieval, and it's based on a true story, but probably not.
Fuck.
And it's just like, fuck. Yeah, this is both awesome and the most generic pandering thing.
Remember when you were 10 years old and Braveheart came out?
Yeah.
Watch this movie, you'll feel a little bit of that again. That beautiful moment when you were 10.
It might be amazing, but it's just it looks yeah. And if you go and look at the poster, it's like Gladiator, it's like all of them. The tagline is for honor, for justice, for freedom, and it's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, man. And it's 3 million views on YouTube. So I guess that says there's a lot of cis white dudes.
Yeah, of course.
I guess.
Here's what I'll say. Oh, by the way, he also wrote it. He did the screenplay too.
Oh, good for him.
But it's only 2 hours, and I know that doesn't sound like a compliment, but for something like this.
Yeah.
It could have easily been like 3.5, right?
Yeah, a lot looks like it happens in this too. Like, suddenly in this trailer, I think Ben Foster has an eye patch. Yeah. Or is that a different character, right? Like, the trailer acts like that it's nothing. It's just like sudden eye patch.
Sudden eye patch,
but it's like, that's weird, because that has a weird effect to me, because when I do watch this, because I have to, I'm going to look at every sharp object in the movie, and I'm like, that thing's going into an eye.
When he holds a fork,
I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, be careful. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't have much more to say about this.
I don't either. It's fine.
Okay. Well, let's move on to Spirit Halloween, the movie.
This is Stranger Things, yes?
Yeah, this is also the most generic thing. This is straight to DVD children spooky thing.
Riding
right?
bikes. Yeah.
It looks like every child's like horror.
It's
like
it's postmodern it's postmodern Stephen King. That's what it is.
Yeah. But it reminds me of like Goosebumps or the house with the clock in its walls.
Or Stranger Things. Yeah,
or Stranger Things. I would say it's not even Stranger Things. It's a little...
It's not like the idea. I'm not saying like they're hijinks. Just the idea that it's like spooky. But also that like the group of kids are a bunch of nerds who wear clothes that smack of the 80s. And also are riding bikes and having like weirdo times.
They definitely got feedback to be like Stranger Things, right? Yeah. It's more of like the actual tone of the movie doesn't feel like Stranger Things. I don't think it goes very hard.
No.
I don't think it's going to be particularly like scary or grotesque. I think it's meant for like tweens. Right?
Oh, for sure. This is not for me. I shouldn't be in this conversation.
Yeah, it's not for me either. It's nice to see Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, still kicking around.
Somehow. What is he, like 300 years old?
Yeah, 750. I think that, actually, on your comment about the tone, I think it's a little scary. Like...
Really?
Here's the thing. It's obviously nothing gory happens. There's not going to be any, like... The most we get in the trailer is like someone with like, you know, like grayed out eyes and black makeup on their face and a little bit of visual effects, making it photorealistic and just going like, you know, and we go like, oh, fuck. Right. But to me, it's kind of like the photorealism of our like mainstream visual effects have gotten to a point where these are actually haunting images because they are kind of in the realm of the Uncanny Valley, and also like meant to be horrifying, so like they're kind of scary. Obviously when the dolls and shit are walking around and stuff, that's still all the same stuff, but like I'm mostly looking at, in this trailer, someone gets possessed at one point and they play it safe, like she just gets lifted in the air, it looks like.
Right, and it's like generic horror.
But like when someone was possessed in like our childhood, or like just using that because that's the only experience of a child I have is when I was a child,
right.
They would be a lot more, they wouldn't reveal it. They would like, cover their face with something, show it in dark. This is like, let's show everything. It's all bright. Everything's well lit in terms of, you can see it all. And then the visual effects are horrifying a little bit.
Yeah, I guess. In terms of the actual, like the look, it's very much the Netflix look, right? That like bright color, like digital shot look that you all kind of, it's the Red Notice.
It's risk adverse lighting.
Yeah, it's the most like, it's the most cookie cutter look that we currently have for movies, which isn't to say that a movie is bad for doing that. For example, the a movie that did it a lot was the Fear Street movies, which I would argue were actually quite good. Yeah. But they have that look, and I hate the look. I hate it. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean a movie is bad.
Doesn't mean
having it.
Yeah. Speaking of cookie cutter, Rachel Lee Cook's in this.
Yeah, it was great to see her.
Yeah,
she's doing great.
Work. Good. Yeah.
Yeah. And Christopher Lloyd. They're both people where I'm like, ooh, I like seeing you. I'm happy to see you.
We're good friends. Yeah. It's interesting to me that we don't even need a story intellectual property at this point. Let's just do a store,
Right.
Just Spirit Halloween, the movie. I love this. I hope it becomes a trend.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I do think it is the Spirit Halloween of horror movies, meaning that it's generic.
Yes.
And it's meant for like the most fragile of children.
Yes.
And
off-brand.
Okay.
But some of it will go. You'll go like, oh, that's actually not bad.
Yeah, it would be weird if they went real hard. If they were doing like The Witch, like Spirit Halloween.
Just like
if it was like a Cronenberg film or something.
Someone's jaw gets snapped off.
Yeah,
I hope they do more of.
I hope they do more too. Yeah,
store-based stories.
Sure. Yeah, why not? TJ Maxx,
IKEA. They could do like a puzzle movie that they're like solving an old Swedish carpenter's puzzle or something.
Yeah,
it's like a national treasure in IKEA. Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
I love puzzles.
Yeah, what's that?
I love puzzles. That's all.
Oh yeah, puzzles are great.
Thanks.
I know that there was like a sketch series or something that people were shooting in an IKEA. It was something that someone was doing because IKEAs are like sets.
I think it was like a YouTube project. I remember like we're going to get a shot for a short story, a short film or something like that. Shot every day.
Right.
And piece it like together.
That. Yeah. But yeah, it reminds me of like Hocus Pocus. That's what we mean by like it's not for
tonally,
us. It's for children. It's for children.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah, it could be good.
It could be.
I don't know who made it. Do you know who made it?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm not going to look. I'm going to look at this next trailer.
We got time. Yeah, let's look at the next one. Devotion is what it's called.
Devotion. This is the director of Slight, which I never saw, but it was a very interesting indie film, or at least it looked like it. This is an upgrade for this director. This is a whole fucking thing.
Yeah, this is like a big movie, I think the story is two fighter pilots, pals, defect. Wait, no, go to Korea. It doesn't look like they defect, but most of the trailer seems like there's a central problem to them, like going to war. Like they say stuff like, I need to get out there, or they can't stop me from doing a plane war.
Right. Plane war.
Is it just, I assume it's racism? Is that what?
Yeah, there's some racism. I think it's about the idea that there's that it's like during a time where like I think they did a fucking Call of Duty level like this where like there's some racism here and not everybody is it's about this guy and his wingman, right? And the guy is
Jonathan
he's
Majors.
Black. He's from Lovecraft Country. It's really nice to like Not that he's hurting, but it's nice to see him in a movie.
Yeah. Isn't he going to be like a Marvel guy too? Isn't he? Didn't get cast.
He Who Remains?
Oh yeah, he's in Marvel. He's in the what was that?
That's what I mean. He's not hurting. This man, he's an Ant-Man and the Wasp. God. He's going to be in the next Creed. Like, this motherfucker is about to blow up.
He's just going to blow up.
Yeah. He's going to be featured a lot. And he's Kang. You know, so he's going to be featured a lot in Marvel. He's probably going to be the next Thanos.
Say that like I know who Kang is.
No, but he's basically they're doing like Avengers movie specifically about him, I believe.
The Kang War.
Again, this guy's going to be fine. He's going to be doing great.
Avengers Kang time.
Yeah.
Ooh, Kang time would be a really good.
Yeah. Really Lovecraft Country. Shame it was canceled, but he'll be fine. This other guy, Glenn Powell. I thought he was the guy from Top Gun.
Is he not? Is he? I thought he was guy from.
He is. Oh wait, no, I found it. Sorry, I couldn't find it. Yeah. So does he just come with aircraft carriers?
He comes with aviators on. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're like, we need to shoot an aircraft carrier, and the Army's like, we'll throw in this guy, this smug-looking guy. You can do whatever you want with him.
They're like, you cast him, or or just like keep him in a room.
Yeah, you can beat him. You can do whatever.
You can feed him, I guess.
I just assumed he was going to be the evil racist guy in this, but it looks like he's not.
Goose. He's fucking Goose.
Yeah, but it looks like in this he's actually like the white guy who learns.
Yeah.
Which I guess he is in Top Gun.
I think they're going to have like a scene where he's like, I don't like you because no one else likes you because racism. And then he goes like, man, why are you doing that? And then he's going to go like, all right, you're all right. And then they're best friends for the whole time because it seems like it's also based on a true story. Again, we have to go watch this, Dave, because it's a dude obligation.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's planes. But it seems like it's like a buddy kind of like, look at these two facing the world.
I want to see, so Glenn Powell, I want to see him do a movie with, what's his name? He was in Mad Men. He plays Pete in Mad Men.
Yeah, he plays the, what's his character?
Pete Campbell. I'm thinking of the guy who played Pete Campbell. I don't know.
Yeah, but I know the character.
I want him to do a movie with that guy about like it's just called Punch Faces or something, where it's like they're just guys who have the faces that you want to slap. Because Glenn Powell has that too, right? He has villain face.
Yeah, he has little... Yeah. There's little bit like you're like Yago vibes, like you're gonna betray me, you motherfucker. I can tell
he has he has the betray smile. Like in this trailer, I didn't trust him because he smiled, and I was like, oh, he's up to something. And then the trailer continues, and you're like, oh no, he's not. He's
just a normal guy with a normal face smiling, and I'm the weird one for saying like, you sir are a betrayer.
Yeah, but he looks like that.
But that's acting. I mean, people are typecasts. That's the nature of the biz.
It's Pete Campbell.
It's nice to be refreshed and told you're wrong sometimes, but you did this to me, movies. You're the one who told me to think of that guy as a piece of shit. So
and I think he'll have the credit. He'll have a long career playing villains if he wants to. Yes. I'm not saying he should, but he could.
Yeah. Yes. Also, the Korean War, is that the Forgotten War? Is that true? Do people forget the Korean War?
Well, if it is, then how could I ever know?
That's a really good point. But they call it that in this trailer, and they say America's Forgotten War, and I'm like, oh shit, what war did I forget? And then I looked it up, and it was like, oh, it's the Korean War, and I'm like, I wasn't in the Korean War, but it's not like
if it was like a war with Canada or something.
Because that'd be amazing.
It's like, wait, what?
They're like, we gotta go. Me and you, buddy. We're gonna go kill all those
like 2014
Mounties. Just the Forgotten War. Yeah. Devotion. Terrible name.
Yeah, but this is it's dad porn, like medieval. It's dad porn. I'm into it. It's basically just Top Gun but older planes. And racism.
Yeah, and instead of swords in the medieval times, it's still the past, but it's planes. Yeah. All right.
It's all the same.
We wrapped it up.
But
Let's
this looks good. Let's talk about Let the Right One In, the Showtime series.
We're old, man. I remember Let Me In, which was a remake of Let the Right One In.
I have a take.
Yeah, what's up?
I think that people are too obsessed with this movie.
With the story?
The original Let the Right One In, which was all sorts of Norwegian, right? Or like Swedish. They were honkies and they weren't saying words we say. And
weird understanding of the world, but yes, continue.
That director is great. I'm sorry the Snowman ruined his American career and he had to go back to make movies in other countries.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did do that.
He's from Sweden. Because he did Tinker Tailor, which is very good.
Yeah, it's very good.
He did Let the Right One In, Tinker Tailor, and then he did The Snowman, and then America was like, go.
No, thank you.
Leave.
Even though
You're gone.
the two films you did first are amazing.
Yeah, and it wasn't his fault, you know? Mm-hmm. He hasn't done anything for a while. He's done shorts. He is doing a movie, you'll like this, called Seance on a Wet Afternoon, starring Rachel Weisz.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's coming up. So it looks like he's not done. He's not done. He just had to reset. Well, what I was getting at is Let the Right One In is such a good movie. Mm-hmm. The remake is so aggressively fine.
Yes.
And then they're making this, and all I can think is like, I think it was fine just being that one movie.
Yes. Yes.
They told the story. The story ended. It was a nice self-contained movie. It was very spooky and interesting.
Very spooky.
And we can enjoy that movie whenever we want.
My takeaway was very similar to yours, which was hitting at more of the angle of like, how did they decide to this choice? Which is like, how is this a TV show? Is every season going to be like, in terms of like ways that writers stretch, you know, like seasons, and like we have like kind of an issue, a pandemic of writing about this issue on TV, where it's like, can you make it like 8 seasons though? And it's like, but it wants to be 4. How is this a TV show from jump? I don't want to spoil the movie, so I won't.
Yeah,
but
that's the thing. Is
my question is every season going to be like someone finds out she's a tiny vampire and that person dies arc? Because
it has to be, right?
Can't
and they move
happen
along
a lot. Or is it a limited series? Is it like just like 8 and then we're done? Because that's
I don't know.
A miniseries would be fine.
Or it becomes like fucking Interview with a Vampire, where it's like becomes this vampire world and lore and stuff. This is the problem. Yeah, because the issue to me is extending the story in any way kind of ruins the story. Which is like, oh god, is she gonna just keep finding like humans that she burns through? Is it gonna be just keep following this guy and the vampire as they keep trying to go to a new place? Whatever the story is, it's just it would be like taking Under the Skin and just making a TV show where she keeps trapping guys every episode. Yeah. And it's like, no, I get it. Like that was only a part of the story.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. They also made Dexter, so it's like maybe they can. No, that's absolutely true. There's a lot of TV shows that kind of do that kind of thing, and they still get away with it because there's the characters are good. The characters are good.
Yep.
Yeah, just so people know, I won't give any spoilers past just the setup or Act 1 because it's not necessarily a well-known movie. Like Let the Right One In, and it's a foreign movie, but it is a cool concept, and it's pretty clear in the trailer, I think. But it's just the idea that a man is harboring a child vampire and has to like do murders in order to feed her in this case, but him in the original. And I also don't see in this the arc of like, I thought what made Let the Right One In originally, like the Swedish version, is that I think it's Eli is the name of the vampire, and Oscar, I can't remember the name of the kid. But everything is shown through the view of a normal human child.
Right.
And that's kind of what's perfect, is that the human child, just all we know about them is they really want a friend. And is bullied at school, and the vampire is kind always because the vampire is terrified of being found out. And so it's like this ad hoc, like, yeah, I'll listen to what you have to say and stuff. And so that's kind of the movie. That's how the setup of the movie. And to me, it's like, if we don't see that side, is it just like they're doing the thing again that TV shows do all the time, which I understand is fine and works for a lot of movies or a lot of TV shows, which is we're going to show every angle, all of the characters get like the positioning of the camera, everything is decided because it's like a holistic worldview of this world we're in, as opposed to a focal point of a character who's like, you see everything through their eyes. And that's just something that's a difference between TV and movies. I do think that there are some TV shows that do that, or maybe they'll do it for an episode, but they rarely do. In the same way that, like, I don't know, Game of Thrones, you're over here in King's Landing and then you're over there at the Wall. You know, it's like, right. So it seems like their approach on this one is taking out that child's viewpoint, which really makes the movie to me. And now it's more of like, what's
just
up
like vampires.
What's up with this, with the adult? What are they doing? You know, and that kind of stuff. Or like, what's going on with the cop who's like looking for the murderer? You know, it's like all this stuff is happening and you're just following it rotely. And that bothers me a little bit because like, that's one of the aspects that made Let the Right One In, the original, like so compelling, is that you're just like, oh, from a children's point of view, this is all very normal. You know? Right.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't seem like a story that needs to be drawn out. For exactly the reason you're saying. And it feels like they're just like, isn't it cool how there's vampires?
Yeah.
We're making a vampire show. And it's like, oh, well then just do another, I don't know. Whatever. Just make fuck you, whatever.
Fuck you, whatever. That's a good. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Although I do love Grace
It's the equivalent of like the real Ghostbusters, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna make a bunch of stuff around this characters. Is it canon? No, it's not canon. You know, like it's whatever. It's a TV show. Right. It's designed to just be a drawn out version of, you know, one point. It's a starting point for them.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. I agree. I think it's just because they're like, well, this is a title people know. I think it's a bit silly considering the movie that it's based off of. It's like the Doubt the Video Game sketch, you know, where it's like, this isn't something that you should be doing. Like, you're not supposed to be spinning this off. It was It was a very specific, like, kind of art house drama horror.
Why is it this now? Yeah, it's weird. But I think Grace Gummer's in this. I seen her in the in several things, but in the Mr. Robot, which it looks like
Mr.
this
Robot
might have similarities in terms of, like, I don't know, tone.
Right.
Stark and horrifying. And she's good in that. She's good in almost everything. Go Grace Gummer.
Well, you want to talk about the next thing? We got a lot to get through.
Yeah, let's go.
This is Blonde. This is the Andrew Dominic film. Fuck. He did Killing Them Softly, the assassination of Jesse James.
Fucking hyped for this movie.
Ana de Armas.
It looks so fucking good.
It's NC-17 for some reason. I imagine not.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Nudity is what were you gonna say?
No, I think looks really fucking good.
Or, I mean, why do you think it's NC-17? There's nothing.
Oh, I'm sure there's some nudity in it, but I don't think it's gonna be like.
I think this is gonna be some fucked up shit.
Yeah, you think there's gonna be like some really fucked up shit?
Well, Andrew,
there might be. You're right.
Andrew Dominic, he did Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, which is like a tone poem, and this is like a perfect project for him to me, because we don't need to chronologically do anything. It's like what I've been waiting for like a biopic, because we don't need to follow the chronology of the shit. Who cares? It's a single thought, and that thought is so evocative, and it's right in the trailer, which is like, she says, like, I can't stand doing another scene with Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn doesn't exist, as said by Marilyn Monroe. And I don't know. I just think that there's something really cool in that. He's gonna pick that apart, and it's gonna just be a meditation on her not being able to reconcile herself and the icon.
Yes, I think that's going to be a big part of it. And you're right, I think it's going to be fucked up shit. Because I think what they're also showing is that she's often exploited. That's what they're clearly showing.
It's going to be brutal.
And there's something interesting in the casting is if you go into the list of characters, the only one, she's credited as Norma Jean. The rest are credited as the playwright, the ex-athlete.
Yes.
The president.
That's exactly
right. It's not naming names, but it's clear who these people are.
It's because it's from her point of view. She's just seeing archetypes because that's all she can see in the world. Yeah, she is one.
Exactly. She's an archetype. You're right.
Andrew Dominic. He knows what's up.
Yeah, it should be noted that the guy whose cast is playing the president was also in the movie Jackie as JFK. He's also played JFK in multiple fucking movies. So, it's JFK is the point, but that's obviously what it is.
Yeah. And Anna de Armas looks so fucking good in this, right? Like, got the voice down.
Yeah. She looks just like
really fucking looks like her in some angles, It's fucking weird.
Is fucking working right now.
She is.
She is working for that Oscar. Has she gotten an Oscar yet?
I don't think
she's gonna.
She's gonna. This is the year. This is the year. Yeah. Possibly. This is also, just to get back to like my MO, this is a great trailer. It doesn't tell you everything. It is. Because we all know how it ends, and I think more trailers should conceive of us as the viewers as already knowing the ending, so not like displaying the ending outright. Right. I wish more movies did that, where they're just like, and then yada yada yada. You know how it goes. Like that should be the ellipses at the end of every cut of a trailer, and this is how that operates. Very good.
It's great. Yeah. But yeah, I just want to know, Ana de Armas really snuck up on me. Like, when I go back and look at her, like, it's like, oh, she was in Blade Runner. Like, I forgot. Like, she's the main lady in Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
She's
I think
Joy.
everyone...
And then she just snuck up on me.
I think everyone...
It's like Knives Out. Yeah, No Time to Die. She's doing it all. She's like, I can... Look at me over here as a Bond girl. Look at me over here winning an Oscar.
Frankly, the most memorable part of that movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, those sequences with her were very good. Yep. And
then
Knives Out,
she's giving Ben Affleck a hand job in Deep Water.
I didn't see Deep Water. I didn't know that happened. Ben Affleck, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
In Deep Water. There's a hand job scene.
No, I'm just thinking
there's a hand job
photo.
Trailer.
There's a hand job trailer.
It is. No, it's in the trailer. There's a trailer for Deep Water that's just Ben Affleck getting a hand job. And what's wild is that it's kind of cut short in the actual film. So it's kind of, they like promised this hand job, this glorious hand job.
I just don't believe you, Dave.
Yeah, well, you just look up the Deep Water trailer and then go watch Deep Water.
There's a trailer.
I guarantee. Go watch the Deep Water trailer and tell me it's not the entire trailer is just Ben Affleck getting a hand job. Deep Water teaser trailer.
I actually am never gonna look this up because I just want it to be true.
It is.
It's not
teaser
true.
Trailer Deep Water.
I don't believe
I just googled it. It's a minute 19.
I'm not gonna do it.
And it's just Ben Affleck getting a hand job.
It would take me less than 10 seconds. I'm not gonna do it.
I guarantee it, Abe.
Great.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, I'm your friend. I do not trust you.
Money.
I'm a good friend of yours, and I know not to trust you.
All right. It's a hand job.
This is beautiful fiction in my mind.
Let's talk about God's Country.
Yeah, the YouTube song.
This is Tandy Newton.
In God's Country.
Tandy Newton?
It's Tandy.
Tandy?
No, it's Tandaway.
Tandaway?
Tandaway Newton. She just had... No. She just had She just said like there was a misspelling. There's a W in her name, and no one's announced it correctly.
I think you're trying to Devon Sawa me.
No, I'm not. I swear. Tandy Way. Tandy Way Newton is her name.
Sure.
Yeah. She.
Point is this.
It was a recent article.
I'm into this.
Yeah, it's her versus rednecks.
Yeah, it's her versus rednecks. She's a professor, ex-cop who moves into this like isolated area. The cops can't help because there's like 2 cops in the entire county. It appears to be racism, but they don't actually explain what it is.
Right.
It's just like two hunters are on her property, and then it becomes this like, it's like a real Straw Dogs looking.
Yeah.
Well, I should say it's Straw Dogs without the weird shit. In Straw Dogs, it's a real like no one's gonna fucking push me off of this property. I'm gonna get back against these fucking gumps that are showing up and being aggressive, possibly racist. They have chainsaws. It looks. I hope she does awesome shit to them.
Yeah,
you know?
she's gonna. The other thing is, I got really I perked up when I saw that the actor Jefferson White is in this, and he's not very well known. He's the main redneck. He's not the cop. He's the main redneck, the skinny little boy. And I am calling it now. He's going to blow up after this movie because he was in a TV show called Manhattan, which I praise all the time. And he was very good in it.
He was also in Yellowstone.
He was in Yellowstone. That's true. That's why he probably got this role. I totally forgot about that. And I've seen Yellowstone.
I haven't.
I know.
He's also in Alex Garland's next movie.
Good. He's going to blow up. I can tell.
He's going to blow up in Alex Garland's next movie, one imagines.
Yeah. I'm calling it. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is called Civil War.
I actually actively don't look at Alex Garland shit because I like his movies.
Yeah, you won't be surprised.
Yeah, he's one of the only writer-directors right now that I'm like, oh, I kind of want to wait to see.
Yep. Well, that's all I have to say about God's Country. It just looks pretty sweet.
I think there's something I really liked about the trailer, which is pretty milquetoast as far as, trailers go. You can tell though from it that they nailed the fearing living in your own home aspect of the horror. Like the environment literally wants to kill her. It's cold. The house is distant from like literally everything. The cop is cold and distant. I don't know. It looks pretty neat. It reminds me a lot of the filming style does remind me a lot of stuff that we've seen before, like Wind River. Have you seen that? Only because
I would argue this is another generic. This is dad porn. It proves that dad porn doesn't have to be just for dads, right? Like dad porn is for everybody. It's just a specific type of movie.
That's right. You're correct as always, Dave.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's like, ooh, nobody's going to drive me out of my house. I'm going to take a stand. Yada yada.
Yada yada.
And I'm into
in God's country. You don't understand. You know nothing about U2, so you don't get that reference.
I don't.
That's fine.
I don't know anything about U2.
That's cool.
Yeah. Next trailer, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Ooh.
I can't. So there's like 5 Pinocchios coming out, and they all have the same. They all do the same thing. Is they all do. You thought you knew the story.
Yeah.
But here's the real story.
That's so
they
funny.
Did it. It's so funny because they do it with Peter Pan. They do it with Robin Hood. Every single film that comes out goes, you thought you knew the story. Here's
it's literally
a
line. I wrote it down because it's Ewan McGregor who is Pinocchio Daddy. I forget his name. And it says, it's a story you think you know. And then he laughs, but you don't.
Yep.
It's just like, what
I love that you called him Pinocchio Daddy. He's Jiminy Cricket, I believe.
Ewan McGregor's, I thought he was Pinocchio Daddy.
Geppetto?
Gelato.
Gelato?
That's not Geppetto.
I'll look it up real quick. But
Ewan McGregor
I'm
is
almost...
the Jiminy Cricket?
I
guess it makes sense that the storyteller would be
Finn Wolfhard is Candlewick, whatever that is.
What? I don't.
Sebastian J. Cricket, Ewan McGregor.
Okay, so okay.
David Bradley is Geppetto. That's interesting.
Okay, so Ewan McGregor, it makes sense that the cricket would be talking. It's tough because it's animated, so you don't really know. But it's shown, like no one actually speaks lines for a while in the movie.
Right.
Or in the trailer, I mean. It looks like a Laika movie, Laika?
Yeah, I was about to say, I bet this movie's going to be fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Paranorman, Kubo and the Two Strings. It has this weird strobe effect that is actually kind of off-putting, but it's perfect because it's exactly how you expect Guillermo del Toro's animation stylings to be. It's a little bit Tim Burton, a little bit haunting, but very cute.
I just wish. I don't think there's anything wrong with just saying, I'm doing Pinocchio. And I'm going to do the definitive version of Pinocchio now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I wish it was, you thought you knew the story of Pinocchio. Well, you did, and this is the story.
I'm going to do it the best.
I'm going to do it best. I'm going to just do the story. Like, I don't need a twist. It's just do the story good. There's also the fucking Disney live action one that's coming out.
That's what I think this is actually because Guillermo del Toro, and this is actually on him, is assuming that I have not seen the Pauly Shore Pinocchio from last year. Right. Which is true to the original, but I have. And the original Pinocchio tale has sweeping other plots that have to deal with, like, Pinocchio almost gets stolen by, like, a wandering circus, because, like, wherever the tale's from, Eastern European or whatnot, like, it's like this was just children would be stolen, Right. So it's like this, it's a fairy tale, but it has its dark origins. And that's what the Pauly Shore Pinocchio is really about, because it's a foreign country film. But he's telling us, Guillermo del Toro now, is telling us, you think the story, America, who's only really experienced the Disney version of it. I'm just going to tell you the story, the Pauly Shore Pinocchio. The real tale.
Right. The real tale.
The haunted,
not the Disney version. Yeah,
the Hans Christian Andersen equivalent of, like, like, what was that fucking film?
Probably, yeah.
What was that fucking film with Matt Damon and they were like witch hunters? The Brothers Grimm.
The Terry Gilliam film.
The Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Brothers Grimm all up in here.
Yeah, I hope it's dark as shit. I'm just like I'm more cynical. Where you're right, that is what it is. It's just so it feels like it's that trend that happens. It's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is a version where, like, when actually no, not that one as much, but like mainly like Peter Pan's and Robin Hood's, where there's like these waves where every studio does one at the same time, and then they get like a memo that's like, hey, they're making 4 of these, and each studio goes, well, ours will have a trailer that says you thought you knew the story, but this is the real one. All right, problem solved. Right. Ours will be the best one because we put that in the trailer. Like, it's the most, like, dated, old-timey, like dinosaur studio executive thinking, tactic, I feel like.
Yeah.
And that's what it, like, I'm sure this one is probably going to be the best one that comes out, right?
I mean, he's a good director, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be better than the Disney one. I think the Disney one is just a cash grab. I think this is one where Guillermo del Toro wanted to make this. It's just... Again, it's that thing. There's always one that, like, tried, but the rest are like these weird imitations. But I don't know why there's 5 of these coming out.
He's also Guillermo del Toro, and he does not, like, it's weird because it really does feel like a children's film, and maybe he has mellowed out a little bit, and he's like, I just want to do one, that's like not generic, but like a little bit wider audience. He always had his eyes on a larger audience, but it's not like Pan's Labyrinth is made for kids, right? And
right, I haven't seen Nightmare Alley, but that didn't seem like it was for kids.
Yeah, he wants a little bit of more of an adult audience because he wants to talk about a little darker stuff. And there is a line in this trailer that it piqued my attention here. That's he's probably going to explore a little bit more than any other Pinocchio that we've seen, which is that Pinocchio has a borrowed soul.
Yeah.
And
what does that mean? Did some kid go into a coma the next town over?
Exactly. I think he's probably going to get into this, and like everyone's going to get haunted by it at some point.
Right.
I hope. I don't know.
I hope at the end they make him a real boy and they just cut to a kid dying in a hospital bed.
Yeah. And they throw him into the pigsty with you.
Right.
Child.
I hope there's a scene where someone has to describe what Pinocchio's dick looks like in The Shape of Water.
Yeah. Just a tongue. Yeah. I hope we get to see it. Just a close-up shot of just like a little tiny nub. A little that that Geppetto had to like sand to make it smooth. Because the dick is smooth. That's one of the things that you do know.
Is smooth, yeah.
We all kind of know about dicks, and so he's a craftsman. He's gonna make a smooth dick. So he's got to sandpaper that little boy's dick.
Yeah. I am going to take an opposing view and say, I don't want to see the child's dick.
That's fair. And probably what I should have said. But, here we are. Here we are, Dave.
Yeah. I mean, I started the dick conversation, mind you.
And I'm going for jokes because, there's something inside me that is broken and desires that people like me.
Exactly.
And here we are.
Yeah, and you're on a borrowed soul.
Yeah, so, yep. My soul is not going to want to be borrowed by any child.
Yep.
Let's move on.
No, okay. But yeah, I don't know. I think this will be the best one, and I won't see any of them, except for the Holly Shore one, which I already saw. House of Darkness. Woo! This is Justin Long showing up.
I'm kind of excited about it. How about you?
Yeah, I like that Justin Long. I just watched Tusk. So in my head, Justin Long is now playing the broy guy who just gets tortured or like fucked with, and that's what this feels like. Mm-hmm. Justin Long goes to Kate Bosworth's house, and I think she's a ghost. It's based off of a
Bram Stoker.
Bram Stoker, who isn't credited. I should know. There's no credit for Bram Stoker except the trailer.
In the trailer, and I wanted to point this out because sometimes trailers do weird things that we just let them do, and it's not the biggest gripe, but it's just funny to me.
Right,
is that they do the little supers, the text on screen, and it goes boom. A reimagining of is in your head you're imagining the movie guy voice, but it's just a text of. A reimagining of shot of Bram Stoker's ... timeless tale ... Justin Long, and I just thought that was funny to me.
I looked it up because I was like, what Bram Stoker tale is this a reimagining of?
Isn't it House of Darkness? Isn't there a thing called House of Darkness?
According to the IMDb trivia, it's Dracula. This is a reimagining of Dracula.
That just got me. Okay, so it's the Thrall. Good on you, House of Darkness. I thought that there was just a different... That's what I thought too. I was like, oh, Bram Stoker must have written other stuff. Yeah, because they didn't say. They say a Bram Stoker's Timeless Tale. I'm like, okay, they're just like sucking their own dick a little bit. You would just imagine Dracula, and then they would say, because, hey, you know what? I criticize trailers for giving away too much all the time. We just gave it away. That's a shame.
I wanted to double check. He's made a lot of books. He wrote a lot of things that aren't Dracula.
Right.
It's weird that this is based off of Dracula. Someone adapt one of his. Is all his other stuff bad? Okay, so
that reconceptualizes it for me though, because the idea of being introduced to Dracula and like on the trailer, all we see is Dracula's thrall. Are these the brides of Dracula, or are we rebooting Dracula as a woman? Either is,
I don't know.
Is definitely new.
Here's what I'm going to say. This is the writer and director of Nurse Betty and the Nicolas Cage The Wicker Man. So I don't know if that helps.
It doesn't.
Also, Bram Stoker has a movie called Miss Betty. You think Nurse Betty was probably not, right?
Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. That seems a stretch. That seems quite a stretch.
I know. It'd be amazing if it was.
If it's canon.
Yeah. I don't know what to think about this movie at this point because it's throwing all these things at me.
There's too much for me to decipher right now.
Yeah, I'm having trouble knowing if this movie's going to be good, which, I mean, you know,
Justin Long's pretty good. He's done some pretty good stuff. I like the shot of the men's shoes in the catacomb. Like, that's good enough image for me to hang on to. I don't need more from the trailer.
Through dudes.
Just like burning through dudes, yeah.
There's a lot of movies called House of Darkness, by the way.
Yeah.
They're usually haunted house movies.
That's one of the things that made me think that it was not a Dracula, or it didn't even scan as Dracula, because I was like, oh, okay.
She was a ghost.
Yeah, I thought it was just another story, a spooky story. If you were on let's say you had a fantastic date, and then it started to get really spooky all of a sudden, what do you think you'd do? Would you get out of the house?
No.
Because
it depends. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is
I kind of got hots for spooky. I'm
exactly. And like whenever it's that like, I don't know. It's the meter of like, is this going to go well? You know, are things going to progress? And it's
maybe
like you're willing to forgive a lot. Yeah, maybe I'm into this. You know.
Yeah. But you are hard. You're like creating jump scares in front of me.
Right. If they bring me back to a gothic castle, it's just like, okay.
And this is
that honestly is a good sign, because he says it in this. He's like, you're rich, huh? And it's like, yeah, that's not a bad thing. You know? Yeah, she lives in like Enya, you know, and that's a little concerning.
That's where your brain goes, huh?
Yeah,
You're like, she's rich.
You could be
she
like,
might be
oh,
like
it's an
Enya.
Enya. She's an Enya.
This is a weird thing to think, Dave.
It's just like that would explain.
It's not like me. Oh, you have
stuff.
In fact, she says like we have a few of these, and that's two things. One is they're like he's like we. What's we mean? And the other thing is few of mansions. You have a few mansions, so that means you're like a billionaire, which means you probably are the worst ever, and probably not Enya.
Probably not Enya.
But I'm glad. I'm glad you went there. And I support it. And
I told you this was I have a horror movie idea or like a mystery idea, and you have it take place 50 years from now, and it takes place in a mansion that was owned by the Levy Empire. So it's all like old spooky pictures of Eugene Levy and like all the Levies, and like treat them like an old empire of barons.
Such a weird idea. I love it. I fucking love it, dude. Yeah. Fucking post-apocalypse Eugene Levy film. Yeah, why not? Why the fuck not? I mean, we had the Nicolas Cage movie just now.
Yeah.
The talent one, whatever the fucking impeccable,
unfortunate, unbearable weight, massive talent.
There it is.
But yeah, this looks like a film. Then I'm gonna see it, and I have a feeling it might not be good, but I'm gonna see it, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Just showing my ass. Last time I was on this podcast, I believe I dubbed myself Dr. Movie, and man, between not knowing that this is Dracula and
I didn't know either,
and not Andor, but Andor, things are not looking great for this doctor.
We'll have to revoke your license.
No, I don't think we should go that far.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about this next one, which I would argue is kind of the main event. The Banshees of Inisherin? Did I even say that right?
I don't know. Inisherin is what my brain goes to.
This is a Martin McDonagh movie, and I would argue it is the most Martin McDonagh a movie can be.
Yeah, it's in Bruges reunion.
Yeah, it's fucking Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, and then they sprinkle in some fucking what's his name, Barry Krug. Like fucking Joker, new Joker
boy.
Who, like, the moment he spoke in this, I was like, of course he's in this film. Like, after seeing him in The Green Knight, it was so obvious. Like, yeah, he's a Martin McDonagh actor. Of course he is.
Yeah, always fun dialogue too.
Yeah.
And it's not just a reunion of the actors and the writer. Brendan Gleeson being disapproving of Colin Farrell is like. That's the bread and butter of the scenes, and that is true
a genre
of both films.
now. Yeah,
it's clear. I also love the idea for this movie. What a weird idea! A man wants to be a friend, and the other man hates him, and we don't know why. The idea is the guy basically says it's two lifelong friends, and one of them says, "I'm ending our relationship," and he doesn't explain why, and Colin Farrell's trying to figure out why, and he says, every time you speak to me from here on, I'm going to cut off one of my fingers. That's how much I don't want you to talk to me. Get away from me. Like, I'm not going to give you an answer.
There's probably a perfect picture summing it up. If you look in the IMDb, it's Brendan Gleeson sitting in an old, like, wicker chair in a house, and there's a window, and outside the window is Colin Farrell looking sad.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And that's the movie. It's Colin Farrell being sad and Brendan Gleeson being... Yeah, disapproving.
Gonna be a lot of fun.
It's in Bruges.
I had to look because I can't help myself. I looked into because we all know like banshees, right, as demons and whatnot, ghosts.
Right.
But I had to look like what's the particular meaning of banshee in like Irish folklore. And that is its origin, is Irish folklore, and it's a female spirit that haunts a house to signal that a family member, like to a family, it is warning the family by screaming, which is where we get like the banshee scream, or screaming like a banshee, that a family member is going to die. So my guess is that McDonagh's going to look at that part that is announcing coming grief.
Okay, so I'm guessing, because this is very Martin McDonagh, that Brendan Gleeson is going to die, and he knows it.
He knows he's going to die, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a cancer diagnosis or something.
Probably.
And he's trying to break it off. That seems like it could be
He loves him so much that he's just like, I can't say goodbye to you. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Or we'll see. But I just think that the announcing coming grief is the unique aspect of what makes a Banshee a Banshee.
Yeah.
The other,
if anybody's sorry, I was going to say if anybody's confused about Martin McDonagh, go see In Bruges.
Yeah, Bruges is really good.
Go see fucking 3 Billboards. Go see 7 Psychopaths. And all you need to know is that he's going to do some really funny stuff mixed with some really dark stuff. And his characters are not necessarily good people. And like they'll say racist stuff. They'll say terrible things. They'll kill children. Like they're not going to be good. And he is also knows exactly the type of person who should be in one of his films.
He's
for
good
example,
casting.
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell is a perfect because of the timbre of his writing voice. The way I've pitched it on, I've talked about him before on other podcasts because he's virtuosic in terms of his writing. I would go so far to say, and I'm sure people are going to hate or disagree with this opinion, he's what you wish Tarantino was.
I hard agree.
Yeah.
He's also makes me jealous, where it's like, I wish I could write like this.
Yeah,
it's so good,
very casual.
And you can't try to write like it. Like if you try to write like it, then you like people will go, "You're trying to write like that," you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like Tarantino.
It always feels stilted and like it's getting the idea you have is so big it's getting in the way of the dialogue. To a better writer, it's like, no, we're just talking here. We're just riffing, and then this idea comes out. It feels more organic. It feels more conversational. It's just better.
You're right. It's more, I would say, more earned Tarantino, in that and then the way the plot comes together and all the pieces fill out. Like I would argue Tarantino isn't actually very good at that.
Yeah. He's more about let's make sure that scene happens, and this is more of like let's make sure the story ends in a satisfying way.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I prefer.
Yeah, better Tarantino. I'm going to call him that from now on.
You got it, man.
His movies are just so fucking.
Sorry if you're listening, Quentin.
Who's Quentin? Oh,
Quentin,
right, Tarantino.
Quentin. Yeah.
His name's Quentin. That's funny.
That's just funny. I mean, it's not his fault.
Is it his real name, or did he call himself that?
Oh shit! I didn't even think that he changed his name.
Yeah, it could be his fault.
It could be his fault. I don't think he changed his
Who
name.
calls him
I've never heard
Quentin
that.
Tarantino?
That's a weird name, but it's a memorable one. Anyway.
All right, final trailer. We did this on More Hype, and now the full trailer is out. This is called Glorious. This is the glory hole with the eldritch horror, played by J.K. Simmons.
I just wrote down this just because jokes. Glorious, the sequel to Precious.
Nice.
God is in a glory hole. He wants to suck your dick, and he's J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. It's obvious that it's like he's just because he says, like, at the end, he goes, I should have gone to the next rest stop, and he says it wouldn't have helped you. And they end on a beat where he says, like, what is there, a werewolf in that one? Or an ogre? But I bet what he's going to say is, I would have been in that one.
I would have been in
right?
that one. I'm the god. I came for you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very clear that whatever this is J.K. Simmons targeted this man. And this was the first place he could target and trap him.
And like all movies, the importance of Act 1 is setting us up for the main character, the protagonist's flaws and like abilities. And this one, all we get from the trailer is he's clearly fresh off a breakup. So it looks like this is a metaphor, like you miss like your ex, and they're also kind of God, and you put them on this pedestal, and there's like a sexual component. And it's just going to be that personification talking down to you and telling you have to do something that you don't necessarily want to do, which is a good way of saying what a breakup might be. It's just my idea of what it might be.
Yeah. Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, this is a cool idea. It's just
all the
an
rave
idea
right now.
What is? Glorious in particular?
The Lovecraftian horror
right, yeah, that's
film.
right.
And here's what I'll say about that is I think I'm loving it. And at some point I'm going to get sick of it.
That's true. I mean, it's just
at some point we're going to start seeing diminishing returns where like it's going to be people just kind of doing it for the
sake of cashing in on the style,
to get noticed.
Yeah.
You know?
This is we're in the phase where it's just we've already gotten the phase 1, which is like Lovecraftian shit is back. Now we've gotten to the place of like we're gonna fuck with it, kind of like what we've become with the multiverse and like everywhere all at once or whatever the movies name. Everything everywhere all at once. Like the idea where like, okay, we're gonna break it. This is us breaking it. This is just an idea. That's all that's necessary. The filming looks a bit under budget, but I like that we make things like that. It's just unhinged. We're stretching the idea of like, okay, so what if we just like skin the Lovecraft thing, skin the idea of a god, and then put them behind a bathroom stall the entire movie.
Right.
So we don't even cash in on it until maybe at the end for, you know, the final sequence where I'm sure someone's sucking someone's dick.
Oh, I hope so.
I think that's how this movie ends, is a dick getting sucked.
I think what's going to happen is the serpent eye of the all-seeing, gigantic serpent eye of like Disney. Or like a J.J. Abrams type is going to see what's happening, right? Probably not Disney. I don't think we're going to get a Lovecraftian Disney film, but you know what I mean. Where it's gonna hit a mainstream. It's gonna be Marvel.
It's gonna be
Marvel's gonna do like a Lovecraftian type.
Oh, for sure. That's the way this is going.
And they're probably gonna just make it. They're gonna make it oversaturated and simplistic. Like, it's the Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness versus Everything Everywhere to me.
But for right now,
things are good.
It's just unhinged, pure unhinged. It's just movies for you and me, Dave. It's like
this looks
our glory hole movie.
Yeah, this is our glory hole movie. No, it's everybody's glory hole movie. Yeah. But check out the full trailer to Glorious. It's I don't know. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I don't think it'll be particularly deep or meaningful. I just think it'll be fun little gory horror movie, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's trailers. And we got to get into news stories. Boy, do we. But we have some more patrons to thank.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's thank Davey Francis 9. Davey Goes to Hell. Thank you to Great. It's that guy. Thank you to Chester's Prophet. Thank you to Definitely Not Guillermo del Toro. Looking forward to Pinocchio. Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows. Thank you to Bob Grenville. Thank you to Steven. Thank you to Han Toomey, the confused cyborg.
Woo!
It's you.
It's my turn. Thank you, Asking7.
Thank you.
Thank you, Happy Ed 209.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manischewitz. Molotov says economic solidarity is the path to paradise, comrades.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiger Drawers, Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cody Johnson's Time Machine Noise.
Thank you. You did it.
Yeah. Thank you, Pete Vorpagel.
Thank you.
Thank you, pre-order Jason Pargin's new book. Pre-orders are super important.
It's true. Okay, so we only have one news story, but it's a big one. Yeah. Warner Brothers canceled the Batgirl movie. They also canceled a bunch of HBO Max streaming films. It's because Warner Brothers Discovery is a merger that happened, and what happened is someone else is in charge, and they're like, "I'm going to whip this place into shape." And there's two minds of this, because I would argue HBO Max is the best thing they have going for them right now. Or like for Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but I mean that's said from your point of view, which they make content. HBO Max they make content for us, for people like us.
Yeah.
Over 25, you know.
Yes, but I just mean they're making good stuff on there.
For sure.
You know, they have Peacemaker, they have the Harley Quinn stuff, they have good DC stuff, they have the only good DC stuff, in my opinion. And then they got like stuff like Lovecraft Country, which they canceled, but like they have the HBO side where it's like, we're fucking HBO, we're gonna make HBO stuff. Whereas like Black Adam and all and fucking Aquaman and all that stuff, and Shazam, like I don't know, maybe that stuff makes more money is what we're learning. But this is hard to wrap my head around, because The other streaming films, some of them had already come out, some of them hadn't. One of them was out for only a couple weeks, and it's like, why did you get rid of it? It's there. Like, just let it exist. But the weirdest thing is that they spent about $90 million already on Batgirl. It had Michael Keaton in it.
They spent probably half that.
Half that, okay.
Yeah.
It had Michael Keaton in it, had J.K. Simmons, had Brendan Fraser. It was going to come out on streaming. If the idea is that they want to focus on theatrical releases, it's weird that they can't just do that with Batgirl. Mm-hmm. And so this is, in my head, and you probably can help me with this, Abe, my guess is that there's some fucking spreadsheet and they did this weird math and there's an insurance policy and all this stuff, and they don't care about the actual fans. They don't care about the content. They don't care about what art there could be involved. They looked at this and they said, if we do this, this, and this, then we may make back this money. Yeah.
This is something I actually know quite a bit about. And you're half right. You're very close. You're very close. And I would say that for studios, it's not that they probably don't, but what they do care about is your purchase power. And your purchase power turns into money for them, and that they care about. So in a way, they absolutely do care about it. It's about what aspect what aspect they think we care about. And that's where I think that that's why we're getting the outrage that we're getting. That's why we're getting the disconnect from the studio and the populace right now.
Yeah, I think there is across the board a disconnect between what people actually want and what companies think people want. Warner Brothers, they just actually announced while we're recording this that HBO Max and Discovery Plus is going to merge into a single streaming service. Now, for the record, this is like the 5th time HBO has done this, right? Yeah. There was like HBO Plus. There was all these things.
Warner Brothers
and
is
people
kind of a mess.
overwhelmingly are saying, like, why are you doing this? It's not broken. For the love of God. Like, you need to just let HBO Max exist. We like it.
Yes.
And so, like, it's again, it's the Quibi thing. It's when they're like, you know what people want? Movies that are 7 minutes long that they can watch on their phone. Because they looked at, like, YouTube, and they looked at, like, someone looked at their kid looking at Twitter, and they were like, oh, I know what the kids want. And it couldn't have been farther from what people actually want, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what's happening. That is for sure the diagnosis. And I think that everyone's right. It's Warner Brothers' fault. The people at the top of Warner Brothers. Fundamentally, I think I have anger towards this situation. It's probably not what everyone does, which is a lot of people just want a Batgirl movie. And I think that that's fine. And I super support that. We should always, whatever you want to see, you should do that. But I do want to point out some things. Fundamentally, what's going on here, though, is a basic confusion that I have over what Warner Brothers wants, and I think it's revealing about what Warner Brothers thinks it can get away with. And the fundamental aspect about it is that, one, Warner Brothers wishes to control exactly how their brand is seen. Right? That's the whole idea of going only theatrical release. So choices are being made with this new shakeup because of the merger in order to heighten the brand visibility. 2, Warner Brothers has the ability, like most corporations, to just suddenly, if something goes poorly, like a story like this, to be quiet and resurface with renewed excitement for a problem that they actually caused. Because be assured, people who are worried about Batgirl being a movie, there's a lot to be bittersweet and to be angry about, because things like Brendan Fraser, not necessarily being in it, the actress that plays Batgirl, like all these different things, and the thing that we were gonna see may not be an iteration that we ever get. But be assured, Batgirl will be made for theaters at some point on the DC timeline.
Oh, for sure.
100%, if not announced in the next year. And I hate this situation because it reveals exactly the thing that I hate about our industry, which is that every month, it seems, I'm reminded of how increasingly monopolistic the nature of this industry has, like, emboldened the people in private rooms forming quote unquote strategy. Like, many of us benefit from the capitalist mindset that what's popular is what's good. Like, Batgirl, right, it looked good on paper, and it probably would be good, right? Well, that's why we want to see it and we're clamoring for it, right?
Right.
But this news tells me that in this system, I don't know, we should be reminded that we have the power to dictate content with our voting power. When, like, the corporations make what we think is a bullshit decision, we should let them hear it. That's why I'm encouraged by what's happening on the internet right now, for example.
Yeah, I also think that Warner Brothers has been in trouble for a while, and it's like one of the other decisions they made recently was we're going to let the new Harry Potter go out, and if it doesn't do good, we're not going to make more. And like it sounds so simple, but like that seems
That's
like
just
someone
not
who
true.
came in charge and was like, the fuck are we doing? Like, why are we insisting that Harry Potter is still popular? Why not just let it end? Like, it's that idea that I actually do think is a healthy decision, which is like, we need to stop. Like, it's the idea that like at some point this stuff was going to go out with a whimper, right? They were going to keep making these fucking DC movies
That's
and
all
superhero
it'll ever
movies
go at us,
until they just go out with a whimper. And so, like, I think whoever's in charge of Warner Brothers Discovery now is like, no, I'm going to make the conscious decision to end things and to stop, like, this
That's what
flood
happened.
of, like, let's make everything. We got to make a superhero
Yeah.
this, superhero that. Let's
And-
do it all. He's like, everybody stop. Let's actually just, like, focus on making movies that are, like, deliberate and maybe good and not make like 20 superhero projects that we're juggling. Like, that's what it feels like.
That's
is
true.
like they clearly must have been losing money, and this might actually be a sign not of a disconnect, but of like a realization of like, we need to actually like focus.
That's correct. I mean, that's the math that you were talking about earlier. That's exactly what this is. Because if you
Right.
spent $45-50 million on a movie, right? That's a sunk cost at this point, but you could spend another 40 to 50 million on it, right? So would you rather take that $50 million and now you have half to a third of your budget for something that is going to give you a return on an investment of like 300%? Then you're going to do that thing. That's the math that we're talking about. Theatrical releases still make this studio so much more money than their streaming branch. Why? Because they didn't have Netflix numbers. They never have. So they tried to, and that's why we got a lot of those changes with HBO Max and all that stuff in like the last 3-4 years, because they were the call to arms was to embolden the streaming platform. They bought out everything. They spent a lot of money because you got to spend money to make it like, we're like Netflix. We're better than Netflix. And then Disney comes in and says, we're going to take all that shit. And that's really who Warner Brothers is fighting. They're not fighting the audience. They never wanted to. They're fighting Disney, which is its own capitalistic system thing. But
If it was up to me, I think Warner Brothers should just have HBO. Just do HBO shows streaming, right? Mm-hmm. And then they should just fucking make movies. And then they should just make a deal with Netflix or Amazon or whoever. And just like it's hopefully what we're seeing is companies starting to dial back from the streaming service because they're realizing that it's not making them any fucking money.
Right. Well, the thing is that if they did that, they would lose 60% of their profits.
Yeah.
So that's why they don't. But you're right that we want that because that would create the best
that
would
we want
create
video
the best
stores
content
again.
Yeah.
I want one place to watch movies and I can accept streaming TV shows, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I can accept like, oh, you like HBO shows? Well, pay us fucking $5 a month.
Right.
Oh, you like Disney shows? Yeah, $5 over here. But like, yeah, I can't stand the fact, and most people can't, and we're starting to see that change where people are
That's
just
the thing.
pirating shit again.
That's the thing I wanted to point out is that for better or for worse, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to be on either side of this, but I want to draw a line in sand about what's going on right now with the outrage and with what Warner Brothers is doing, which is that imagine a world right now where they make Batgirl with a larger budget, released theatrically, and we abstain our voting power. We go and we all see it. We're telling them with that choice, which could be fine. Because Like maybe it's going to be an even better version of Batgirl. Maybe it's Brandon Fraser again. Maybe it's all the same cast. I don't know what it's going to be, but now it's got even a bigger budget. I doubt that's what it's going to be, but
right.
I'm not telling you what anyone should like, but I want to remind them that if the fact that we're outraged about the Batgirl not being made, I don't think that's the actual issue at heart. I think it's what you just hit on, which is we're really seeing a reckoning, and this could be the beginning of it, really. I mean, it's been kind of happening under the surface for a long time. Theatrical or not? That's the question. Because that's the question that right now the studios don't have an answer to, so they're sticking to their traditional guns of saying, well, theatrically, it's still better. But if we, as a movement, people decide streaming, I want streaming more than I want theatrical releases. Let's say that's true for you. Maybe you disagree with that statement entirely, and you're like, I want only theater releases because fuck, streaming ruins it for me. I don't know where you are on that picket line.
Yeah,
but I will say that, like, here's the thing. That's the battle that's being had right now. It's not about to Batgirl or not to Batgirl. It's about streaming versus not streaming.
Right, which it's still wild to me why they can't say, okay, this is a theatrical film now. Like, that's wild to me, but it's also, you're right. That is what's going on, right? It's fucking Prey. A new Predator movie that has every right to play in theaters is playing on Hulu. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I'm on that battle. I'm kind of like, put movies in theaters, man. Mm-hmm. But I also think there's downfalls to both. I think that when they go for big theatrical pushes, it's easier to hype a film that has no substance, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's easier to get your Jurassic Worlds out there. When you present it as a big theater experience that actually, once it gets to streaming, you watch it again, you're like, oh, this is actually bad. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm not seeing it in IMAX, this is terrible. Yeah, like it's easy to pass off mediocre projects in the theater system than streaming, in my opinion. But I do think that the system we had, everybody goes to theaters, you wait a few months, it comes out. That's still, in my opinion, the one that works.
It's the one that works, and it's the one that that's the one that they could optimize.
Right. Because then I look at the Obi-Wan movie or show, which was originally supposed to be a movie that was then like split up, and it's like, this is Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, and I couldn't give a fuck. I'm watching this on my phone, and it's barely a thing. And it's like, that's a problem, right? That's a problem that Star Wars is now like just a TV series. They can't possibly like that, you know. Like,
that's for everyone to decide on their own. I think that. I think that's complicated. The key is
very complicated.
The key is also that just to draw the line in the sand and say this is not to Batgirl, not to Batgirl, or whatnot, or what it comes down to is it's not about the battle between us. We're not the two wolves that you feed. It's not like. That's what the studio wants us to think, which is now my anti-capitalism is coming out, and that's what we should take away from this, is that it's not about so the battlefront, the battleground should be, in the streets between fellow citizens saying, I demand streaming. Obviously, if it was, we could make a situation, and we should, where you have a release theatrically and then you have a streaming release and everyone gets what they want. Why can't we have that? Well, because obviously these are capitalist institutions that are driven by profit. So because of the monopolistic aspect of these huge companies like Disney, like Warner Brothers, mainly they are getting emboldened and feel like they can get away with this shit, and it doesn't matter to them because they'll just say like, oh, you didn't like that? Well, here's the thing. What are you going to do? Not watch the next DC film? What are you going to do? Not watch a Harry Potter? I mean, that's how we fight back, is we don't go to Harry Potter's. And they'll just like, well, we'll just remake the originals then.
The issue is it isn't fighting back. It's just that people lost interest, right? Like,
because it was bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing that always bothers me, is there's always this moment where people haven't lost interest, where you see that future, where it's like when Fantastic Beasts came out, I always thought like Harry Potter fans, if you're a fan of Harry Potter, you need to put a stop to this because it's going to just fizzle out and you're going to be very disappointed.
Right.
It's like you have to say no before you want to.
It's so funny that we're here. 10, 15 years ago, it was the death of the $30 million feature, the mid-budget film. All studios basically stopped doing them because movies were seen as... because movies are now seen as a sure thing or not a sure thing. It's not a gamble on the hope that the movie's good, like in the past. Movies being good are no longer the metric. They're not even they don't even think about that before they go into production. It's something after the fact that the studios say, yeah, we can remarket this with renewed brand strength. It's all become about controlling the universe of these things. And it's also trying to say, until we prove to them that brand and iconography only it doesn't make something good, and we what they've done is they've turned movie making into pre-sales of video games. Right? They've essentially said we know you'll go to Batgirl. We know. So we want it on our terms to maximize our profit. Right. That's what's happening right now. And that's so weird to me that they want their brand to be seen now, because the ability to go quiet and resurface is such a unique aspect of the corporation, of all corporations, that the fact that they were well, it's more in tune with how we want to be seen. DC has done this as well. They've had problems with it because Marvel was so successful with it. It's so weird to me that they do this. Name a production company. Name the production company that made Die Hard. Name what made Mad Max Fury Road. Do you fucking remember? I don't. Most of us don't give a shit.
This is a thing now. This is the problem with DC and Marvel, is that they're it's a genre now. It's a that's the movies. It's not I like Tarantino films. It's I like Marvel films, and it's what do you mean by that? It's a brand. It's a big corporate brand. Why do you have to I don't like every A24 film,
Yeah. Who cares?
And it's weird. It is. What you're saying is it's them basically saying we don't want to spend this much money on something that's just going to go to streaming anymore. We want a Warner Brothers film, a DC film, to be something you go into theaters for.
Regardless.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Why? Because Disney changed the game. That's why. Yeah. Because they were so successful. Because the movies were good and people enjoyed them. And that's, in the end, we should use our money to sway what we personally want to see. Absolutely. Even if I don't like superhero movies, I'm the odd man out. If that's what we want to see and we go to see that, good. That's what we call capitalism working.
Right.
It's just turned the industry into something where it's they're not going to take chance. Studios already didn't take chances because they were very fearful of not succeeding. Now it's you need to do these 8 million things even to be considered. And that's a strong statement. So there's that going on. And then on top of everything, they're still trying to figure out how to make it the most profitable, price margin and distribution method. And they still haven't figured that out because, trust me, they want it to go streaming. They don't want to give a cut to an AMC. They don't want to do shit.
Yeah, of course.
They already they found ways to not pay. But they realize that
they're probably not going to make they're not making the money that way though.
They aren't. They want to own everything. It's vertically integrated. They create it, they distribute it, and it's on their platform. That's what they want. Why?
Right,
because that's the smartest thing to do.
I think the math now is they see everything as they don't, and budgets aren't seen the same way because of that, right? Because it's not we're going to spend $90 million on this and then we'll get this much back. It's no, we get streaming subscriptions. Who knows what we get back?
God, I hate it.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening is they looked at this and they said, oh, we can't spend $90 million on something we're not theatrically putting out, period.
No.
And that's it.
What's especially hilarious to me is 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it was. God, it's got to have been 2 years ago. Please not be 3 years ago. Warner Brothers, Algae Rhythm, Space Jam 2. The whole point. He has a whole speech about how today's outrage becomes tomorrow's positive PR cycle. I think we should hate that, and I don't like that they're telling me that and then doing it. I want to see my favorite properties too, but I don't want to be a plaything. I've been a plaything my whole life since Jurassic Park, and I kind of hate it. It's why I find myself in the conundrum that a lot of us are in, which is that we benefit from a capitalist system, and then we also need to bite the hand that feeds, because we can't just be subjugated. I know it's small stakes. It's just a luxury trade industry. It's just going to watch movies. But don't we all care about this stuff more than, you know, most things? I don't know.
No, you're right. We should burn down the White House.
Let's burn it fucking down.
We need to move on.
Yeah,
Abe.
I know you gotta go, but this is
I gotta go in like 10 minutes.
All right, let's squeal about Squeal. Oh, I can't. Nothing. You got to take.
What the fuck were you about to do, Abe?
I was gonna say let's squeal about Squeal.
Abe, what the fuck, man?
I'm sorry.
Thank you for being a guest.
Thank you for having me.
You're a dear friend.
Let's do it.
No, you're right. You're right about everything you said. I'm sorry to cut that conversation short.
No. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. We need to thank some more producers.
Yeah, let's go.
Starting with Del Griffith, the shower curtain fella.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the Midnight Patron with Patrons at Midnight.
Ooh, thank you.
Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Woo.
Thank you to Andrew, the Proud Satanist How.
Hype.
Thank you to Vincent. Thank you to Rev MD. Woo. Thank you to Bootler Boodleson.
Oh.
Thank you to Tux.
Thank you.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you.
Thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Ooh, thank you.
Thank you to Space McNulty.
Ooh,
Thank you.
I'll take it from here. Thank you, your mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Nolan Tubi's Dark Herald Matten.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Follow Marina on Twitch and Patreon, and a Heart Fist Brain McGuire. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tip Drizzle.
Tip Drizzle.
Thank you, Burrito Mouth.
Thank you.
Thank you, the Ghost of Dave Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron Bursar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher Robert Sparts Esquire.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick chill.
Thank you.
Thank you, Funky J.
Thank you.
And finally, thank you, Pie Guy.
Pie Guy. So is there anything else you wanted to say about that, about Warner Brothers?
No, not really. I just wanted to, I don't know. It's framing the argument because I see what's on Twitter, and I think that a lot of people are saying a lot of the right stuff and pointing their anger in the right way. But I just wanted to point out, here's really what the conversation is in terms of like Warner Brothers' eyes, like what you being angry about is actually doing I guess, hopefully I made that point.
Yeah. I also want to point out, and people are rightfully upset, because you're right, it's not really about Batgirl, but that's kind of the problem when, like, for example, there's a Flash movie coming out starring someone who is a criminal.
Yeah, that's
like it's like fucking really? You're not going to cancel that? That's a theatrical release, and that's probably why.
Because he was a part of. It's so funny you mentioned that, because I talked to I was on the phone with Swain right before this, and I was like, oh, "Yeah, we're going to talk about the Warner Brothers thing," and he was like, "What Warner Brothers thing?" Oh, and I was like, "They canceled the Batgirl." I was like, "Oh, is it because Ezra Miller did something?"
And it's like, no.
It was like, "No, dude, no," but it should be. I mean, frankly, this movie.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, we should be angry. Very angry.
Yep. Abe?
Yes, sir.
Abe, cut the shit.
Yeah. Shit.
Do you have a movie that deserves more hype?
Oh, well, I have a doc that you wrote that says that we should be hype about this.
You want me to do this? You want me to take it away?
Yeah, take it away, baby.
Okay. You know what? I have a movie that deserves more hype, Abe. Yeah. I do.
Let's go.
It's called Squeal. It's coming out on VOD August 19th. I'm not sure what this is. There's very few reviews of it. It's about a man in Eastern Europe who's lost in a forest, phrased a mythical forest, almost hits a piglet with his car, has a meeting with a pig farmer's daughter. I think it's like a little honeypot situation. Next thing you know, he's chained up in their farm and being used like he's livestock. There's dog men. There's men who are acting like dogs in the trailer. Mm-hmm. And then a quote, to quote the description, seemingly magical piglet gains his confidence and shows him the way to freedom and true love.
Yes.
This isn't like a kid's movie. It looks really weird. The only review I saw had the quote, It's playing out tropes familiar from torture porn while inverting the usual gender dynamics of that subgenre. It was originally called Samuel's Travels. So they say Samuel's Travels is an absurdist fable of freedom and slavery with a BDSM kink in its porcine tale. Yeah. So, fuck, man. I don't know what I'm looking at here.
So I read all that and then I watched the trailer. And literally in the first 10 seconds, I wrote, "Oh, so he's the family's little piggy now, right?"
Yeah, he
And
is.
then literally as I finished writing that down, he said the line, "I'm not your pig." And I was like, "Oh, I know what this is." I think it's also, like, it's all the things you said. I think there's a little bit of Stockholm Syndrome movie, too.
Yeah.
Like, they're going, because there's footage of him, like, obeying. And, like, not obeying in a way, like, him not just being, like, yes, master, and spiting it. He's, like, down with it, you know? Like, it seems like something is happening in his psyche. And I think that's what the movie's going to really be about. And I think, obviously, the magical piglet is going to be probably an affectation of him needing to escape. But
or maybe it's him from the future.
Also, maybe a magic piglet. I don't know. It could be both. Maybe they'll leave it open, like good movies usually do. Yeah. I also think it's going to end with him eating all of them. That's just me.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be cool.
I get perfume vibes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, where it's like it's like it's being portrayed as like a fairy tale, but it's clearly very like dark and weird and like creepy. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a real fucked up situation, right?
Yeah. What if the pig turns to him and is like, "Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?"
Deliciously. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like a fucking pig god. Oh yeah.
It's not a normal movie. Google Squeal or Google what did I also call it? Samuel's Travels.
Which I wonder if that's Sullivan's Travels. Nah,
I don't know. Not. I see why they changed to Squeal, and like the poster is pretty bad, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And I think they're trying to. It's a foreign film. I think they're trying to make it just grab people now. Like the poster says, "This little piggy should have stayed home" on it. And I think they're trying to like play up. Yeah, they're trying to like play up the pig stuff. And but then when you look at the actual trailer, you're like, I don't know if that's actually what this is as much. I think they're trying to market it. You know what I mean? Like they have this film and they're like, fuck, I don't know what to do with this. But yeah, it's select theaters as well and VOD August 19th.
If it's really good, let's say it's really good and like it does well and gets like a limited release that gets an extended release kind of good. We're going to get more pig films.
Yeah, we've already been getting some. Yeah.
We've been getting some. And if this is another one that's like notch on the belt, pigs are in.
Pigs are in, baby.
Let's go.
Pigs are popular, yeah. Why not? Why not?
Why not? This is our kind of movie, Dave.
It is. It really is.
It's our glory hole movie. It's our pig
it's
movie.
Our glory hole. Our piggy glory hole.
Our piggy glory hole movie.
All right.
Well, yeah. Good job. Good job. Great music, by the way. I like the music on this trailer. That's just me. I like it.
Yeah. I think it's going to be good.
You really outdid yourself this week.
The director also has directed several operas, if that means anything.
It does not.
Yeah. Abe, thank you so much for being on.
Hey, man. I'm sorry this went so long, but
Don't be sorry.
We just had a lot to say, I guess. You know?
Yeah, we did. Do you want to plug some stuff?
Well, I mean, your fans probably know me by now. I'm Abe Epperson, and I am one of the people at Small Beans, which is you can find at patreon.com/smallbeans if you like my audio commentary. We have many podcasts, but to be included and most notable at this point is our Gamefully Unemployed kind of collaborations, including Star Trek The Next Futurama and Spiel Boys, which you may have seen on this feed in Gamefully Unemployed. And if you want to see the other half of, you go over to Small Beans and you patronize us.
Yeah, do that, Small Beans. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. I'll plug patreon.com/gamefully unemployed. $5 a month gets you the stuff that Abe mentioned, and then Tom and Jeff watch Batman. Fox Mulder's a Maniac. We also watch movies every Friday night. That's tonight, so you can join up with that and leave us a review. That's all.
That's all. Ooh, I feel like I can finally take off my Tom Ryman helmet, like the mask, the skin mask that I've been wearing.
Yeah.
I'm
Which
taking
is
that
just
off.
his face.
And we can stop on down.
And scene.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.